Right. How are you guys? Let's do a quick mic check. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. I believe sound is coming through and video is as well. So we can go ahead and get started here. So guys, welcome everybody. My name is Saul, glad to be with you. Before we get started, please remember anything I'm going to show you here is not meant to be a buy or sell signal. It's only the way I manage trades and I approach the markets. So by any means not buy or sell signal or recommendation on any time frame, on any asset. You need to be responsible for your own trading. Hopefully we can explore some principles that might be useful for your own situations. Hi guys, hi Thomas. With that being said, as every Monday, we're going to review what we have ahead in terms of high impact news to be aware of, and then we'll go to the dailies to scan potential midterm opportunities that we have for the upcoming week. If we have time, we will go to lower time frames and we might do some scalping or day trading or something. And I actually have an open trade that I entered earlier today. We'll try to manage it together, or to explain you how is that going and what are the scenarios in a drawdown on that trade. So we'll see what can we do about it. Okay, so first let's go into the calendar. We have a very busy week. Let me show that. We have a busy week ahead. Again, on Sunday we had an unscheduled event. Again, a Fed announcement regarding the situation with the banks, just making sure there's enough US dollars liquid and available for transactions. So that was like an arrangement with all the central banks, the major central banks, making sure there's enough in circulation to fill the demand for US withdrawals. So that was, unscheduled. It was just like a surprise. Today, what's this? Okay, so we have CPI in Canada. We have CPI. We'll see how is that looking in the chart. Okay, we expect similar CPI, so it shouldn't be a lot of surprises other than a lot of volatility. We'll see if there's an important reaction. Then on I'm sorry, that's for on Tuesday. Sorry about that. So today we have a clear day. We have no high impact news. That's Monday. Tomorrow we have the CPI. We expect a similar number, okay, than the previous one. So as long as there's no surprises, we shouldn't have, a new trend starting or something like that, unless we fall short or we go behind the forecast number. So that's for Tuesday around the Canadian dollars. Wednesday we got CPI in the UK. Okay, we expect inflation to be decreased by 0.2%. So it's not a lot. Looks like the increase in interest rate is not working as efficient as they would be hoping, and that's why they have later on the week they have another increase in the interest rate by 0.25 point. They need to be very cautious there over the UK that they want to bring inflation to 5% to around 5%, probably 4% by the end of the year. So they do need to keep increasing interest rates, but then they need to be cautious not to go too fast so they don't slow down the economy. We're seeing the results are not very promising. Okay, so we'll see what happens. If this comes short, if inflation didn't got reduced, we'll see a lot amount of we'll see a very important movement in the pound. Okay, as a reaction of that. So keep an eye on that. That will be very, very important. Then we have FOMC Federal Fund Rate. Again, we expect going from 4.75 to 5%, and that's about it for the rest of the year. If I recall right, that was the target, 5%. They are doing well. Okay, inflation is going down. So we'll see what they said at the press conference, if they expect to keep raising or they're going to stay at 5%. Okay, so all of that happening on Wednesday. And then we have on Thursday interest rates on in Switzerland, again expecting to increase that by 0.5 point, an aggressive one. So that's going to be a very choppy one. And again, the press conference to try to understand if they're going to keep that that policy of increments, or they're going to stop there. The interest rate in UK, as we talk about, to explain, unemployment claims not very important at this point. And then on Friday we have a lot of PMIs, which are very, they tend to be like spikes and go back to normal. Those don't tend to be trend initiators. Okay, so if we need to be aware of something during the week, is CPI in Canada, Federal funds rate in the US, policy rate Switzerland, and bank rate in the UK. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Very, very busy. It's going to be an exciting week. So let's see how that goes. Morning, Diana. Hi. Best trading. What's the forecast for the AUD USD? We'll have a look at that. Here, anyone has kept fund 2 million for the 5ers in Kokpanvu. Hello. We have traders. I don't know if he's over 2 millions. He doesn't have 2 millions in one account, but he managed similars, and overall he has I'm pretty sure he has more than 2 million, probably around that, but not in one account, but in different accounts altogether, managing that amount. Okay, with that being said, let's jump into the charts. Let me show you what's going on. I have an open position. I'll walk you through that, but later on. Let's start with the Euro USD, which is where I have the position. Last week, we mentioned this important movement to the downside. Okay, and if we look at it, it is a strong push to the downside, creating two key areas of supply along the way. One is that, okay, if we go to lower time frames, we can see that clearly, and the other one is around there. Okay, the area where the strong movement to the downside has been initiated. So I've been waiting for the market over the last week to retrace towards those areas, and I'm building a position around those levels. So I entered one position on the breakout here, and then today it completely reversed. I guess that's a reaction from the press conference from last night in the US, because usually this movement, which is a weak movement, when it meets supply, it tends to react strongly to the downside. So it started reacting, and then there was a counter reaction to the other side, I guess, again caused by that. So we're approaching the extreme supply area. So I shorted one more time, and I have another pending order. I will show you that in a minute. And this whole setup just gets invalidated around those levels. So if everything of this fails, I'll take the loss around that. I was very confident with the trade back here. We were like slowing momentum, approaching the supply areas, and now we're just increasing in momentum. So I have lost confidence on the setup, but it is what it is. So we'll see how that unfolds. We'll see how's the price action around the supply area. If we slow down and we can manage to make a turn, actually my break-even point is around there. So if the market manages to go back to that level, I will be at break-even. At that point, I will consider maybe taking just the break-even position. If it just picks momentum to the upside, I will just take the loss. Okay. So the setup is still valid. The thing is, my first entry was invalidated. Okay, this mid-range supply area got invalidated, so that's not valid anymore. We're approaching the strong supply area. We'll see if we can manage to slow down, and then turns might take a couple of hours for that to happen. But if I would just, and this is a good exercise, if I would just opening my charts and I see the strong supply and then the retrace to the extreme supply area, I'll be looking to sell. Okay, I wouldn't be looking to buy at this area at this point. I would be looking to sell. The only thing, I have my down position open, which is down here, which is now causing me a little bit of a drawdown. So I need to kind of mitigate that. But the setup is still valid, so we'll see what happens. Looking at on the classes of the dailies, the dailies it's very hard to read, and we've been like that almost 2 or 3 weeks. We've been like kind of neutral. When we had a slowing momentum, we had an opportunity to turn, okay, to make the turn. We failed 1 time, we failed 2 times, and now it looks like it's picking momentum to finally break those that resistance levels and potentially go all the way to extreme supply on the dailies. But as long as we don't see a clear breakout of the resistance levels, I'm staying neutral, so no direction. So that's for the Euro USD, and pound looks very similar. Looks like pound is managing to make the turn. So if that turn happens, we will go all the way to supply. Let's go to lower time frames. See where's the supply area. So let me go a little back in time. So we have that supply we had been tested already, okay, and we're trading around that area. I wouldn't short that again. And besides that, we have that area. So I guess that's where prices are going now. So that would be the target for that trade. And then I approach this again as a big non-directional movement. Okay, there's no clear direction on the dailies. Given the back, we pushed strong last week. We had a pullback, and we're now continuing to the upside. Yeah, I kind of inside the range. I think there's a slightly momentum to the upside, but not sure how strong it's going to be in order to break the whole structure on the dailies. So on the dailies, I'm still kind of neutral, slightly bullish. But if we go and zoom in to what's happening on the hourlies to see how price action is being formed, we see has been very, very weak. So what it looks like strong on the dailies, if we go and zoom in to how is that forming, we see the weakness. Okay, we see the difference between this strong movement or probably this strong movement to the upside. We see how the current movement to the upside has been a weak one. So I would really like to see like definition and confidence and momentum picking up to clearly mark what's going to be or define what's going to be my bias, which would be to the upside. But I guess until then, I say neutral. And there was a request for AUD USD, so let me bring that and let's analyze it together. AUD USD, we said we have been, the market had plenty of opportunities to turn to the upside and has been failing on all of those. And I remember marking a demand area back here. Let me confirm that. Yeah, so you see the demand. Okay, it's all the way back here. Let's go back. And we have a very strong push to the downside. Let me show you that. Okay, we have this strong push to the downside. We kind of tested, and we're kind of in that area. So as long as we stay below the supply area, I kind of say the structure is the same. Okay, the trend is still to the downside, or the bias is still to the downside, although on the hourlies we are pushing higher and higher towards that supply area. If we manage to break the supply area and all this, seller's pressure, that might change a little bit the bias to the upside. But as long as we stay below those levels, my bias needs to be to the downside. There's a lot of pressure coming from the dailies. Okay, we can see supply. So even if we manage to make a turn and break that level, very, very quickly we're going to meet another supply area, another supply area, another supply area, and keeping the market from creating a strong movement to the upside. I still think this movement, today's reaction, has been formed probably because of last night's Fed announcement that was unscheduled. Once we have once we the markets like settle down a little bit, I see no reason at the moment why this movement to the downside should turn. If any, we have broken all previous demand. This stopping level is at no point. There's no very strong demand in order to stop this movement to the downside. I think the target should be the demand that we saw all the way down here. So I need to keep my bias slightly bearish, okay, on this one. But again, the market will give me new information. I need to keep reading price action to find the right opportunity to short, or to tell me, okay, this is not going to really turn to the downside. I have clear signals that this is reversing right now, and it's going to turn into the upside. Hassan, hello. So just want to ask when I will know I can withdraw in my instant funded account. So you will have there's your PNL, and you have a withdraw button. So if you hover on that, it should tell you when's your next withdrawal date. If that's not happening, I'll have a look at that, but it should tell you. Okay, it's every 2 weeks. Sean Chang, are you buying Bitcoin? It's going up fast, looking to make new highs. I do. Every month I buy some cryptos, and it's going it's going up fast. I agree. Can we analyze euro yen? Yeah, let's see the year pens. Just before going to that, we have dollar franc, which is also an interesting story, because we expect both dollar interest rates and franc interest rates. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, we have the strong push to the strong push to the downside, and now a strong reaction to the upside. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so when we zoom in, we see the strong push to the downside. Actually, up here wasn't as strong. Okay, the supply area maybe there, and we have tested that, but the push to the upside, it is strong. So we have this demand and mid-range demand, demand, and demand. Right now, kind of just moving sideways, expecting for something to happen. Given the fact there's an expectation that interest rates are going to increase in Switzerland, and we haven't seen a strong push to the downside, that open up the door for the opposite movement to happen. So I would expect a continuation to the upside in this case, since we already know we expect a 0.5% interest increment in the franc, okay, Swiss franc. So because of that, it's not happening. So I will go to the other side. Okay, I see weak supply and I see strong demand, so I'll keep my bias to the upside. Okay, but on the dailies, we're still in a very large range. Okay, so it's not a great position to be trading if we approach that simply from the dailies. Not a great position. I would keep my bias to the upside as I mentioned, but we're in the middle of the range, so a new trend will be initiated only after breaking either these tops or these bottoms. Yeah, Hassan, you need to close all your trades. In order to withdraw, you need to be flat. So when is that for the franc? We saw, where's the calendar here? So that would be on Thursday. Okay, we expect 0.5% increase on Thursday. So the fact that we already know that, we tend to see that already priced. So we shouldn't see a reaction to a stronger franc, and I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. I would go to the opposite side. And yeah, the EM pairs. Let's see. Pound yen. Let me bring dollar yen. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Dollar yen. We analyzed this movement to the upside, and we had this supply that we reacted to that. Okay, supply, and we reacted, and the reaction has been quite strong. So now we want to go to the hourlies to see where's the demand, or how strong were those movements to the downside. Okay, so let's look at that. So the reaction to the downside, the initial one was strong, pullback, strong one, and yeah, fairly strong one here. Let's see what's on the demand side. We have this one right there. So we do have some, there's going to be demand. Okay, look, this demand we've already tested. Okay, so apparently the reaction we're having now is a reaction from that demand area. Okay, so I will delete this one. So we might be heading all the way to those levels. Okay, last time we were, last time we were at those levels, we had this reaction, but since then we're having a very strong movement to the downside. Okay, and you can see how far it took for this movement to happen, and how slow was it, and how sharp is this movement. Okay, you can see this moment right there is way stronger than this one. Okay, it took less days to happen. So looks like the momentum right now is to the short side, and we might be heading to those levels. So on any opportunity, on any pullback, I want to be shorting, and my target would be those levels. From there, we'll see how strong is demand here, and we might see a reaction all the way back to the tops. Hard to tell beforehand. What's really important is to remember that all those high impact news will create fresh demand and fresh supply that we couldn't, foresee. Okay, so don't get married with your analysis or whatever we say in advance, because that change on real time, okay, during the week. But right now I would be waiting for this kind of pullbacks, and I would start selling. So probably this is a good, okay, I will go then to the 5-minute chart and see how is that movement formed, and I can see it's a strong movement. So if price continues going to that area, that's a good opportunity to sell. Then here, that's a weak movement, that's a channel, so I won't be shorting that area. I could be shorting the extreme supply, and then that level. So during the weeks, as price approaches those levels, those are good selling opportunities. The conscious day trader, how are you there? And there was a request for Euro Yen. We'll check that in a minute. And we have gold, which has been a pleasant one. And we said, okay, and we analyzed last week how strong was approaching the supply area, and we were waiting for these pullbacks to make it to the supply. I just crashed it. Okay, now we want to see how strong what was that movement, okay, and where we're heading now. So now for that we want to go to lower time frames, and we can see the breaking area, how strong was. Okay, we have that first impulse, a little bit of sideways movement, and a very strong impulse. Okay, so the breaking area was actually like a fresh demand formed. So a pullback towards that area, those are good buying opportunities. We should be heading, we're right now reacting to this area, we should be heading to supply all the way back here. Now I want to see if I can go back that far and see how price action was formed there. Where's the supply? Okay, so let's have a look at that. Okay, and we can see that's a decent supply. So we should be heading towards those levels. Okay, so on a pullback of that movement, okay, right now this movement is a bit overextended. We're now reacting to this supply, but on pullbacks I want to be buying and targeting the supply area, which is right there. Okay, so this is probably the clearest one we have, which is gold USD. From all of those we have seen, is the clearest one. Okay, just gold long on pullbacks. And let's look at Euro Yen. Where is it? On the euro, we have both the euro movements and the yen movements. So we saw dollar yen want to be slightly short. I think here we have a similar reading. I have this from previous sessions. Okay, the extreme demand, and we're coming from a very strong supply. This last movement. Okay, this one. So pullbacks towards that area, I want to be shorting. I think there's a little bit more room to go to the downside, but you can see it has been a very strong range. So right now it's a bad area to do anything. You want to wait for the market to go to extreme and then to buy, or to go to the supply area, which we saw, and then to sell off those areas. Let me see what's happening there. Yeah, there was price action all across the strong movement to the downside. So if we break, if we manage to break the resistance, we might see a little bit of pullbacks, but we eventually should be heading towards the extreme supply. But right now, like no trade zone. We're not reacting to anything. No support, nothing very, very clear. So I would really wait for the market to come lower and then to buy, or to come to the tops and then to sell. Okay, what's happening? What's going on with our trades? On the dailies, looks bad. Okay, it looks like it had a push to the downside. That's the tail we're seeing, and it's just pushing strong to the upside. And then on the hourlies, looks similar. Okay, so we entered the supply area. We had this reaction, the tail. Instead of completing the reaction, it's just pushing deeper and deeper to the upside. So again, the setup is still there, but I want to be cautious about it. In fact, these are good opportunities to take in partial losses. Let me do that right now. Market executions. Let's take part of it off. Okay, so I just banked a loss, okay, right there, because I'm seeing more and more price action telling me this is going strongly to the upside. So also delete this one. If I need to re-enter, I will re-enter with confirmation and not fading. But this might go all the way to my stops. But taking part of my position off allows me to save money. If I need to reallocate it on future positions, and that also brings my my break-even level closer. Okay, if I need to add that again, my break-even position level would be a higher level. So on the hourly, it's just a lot of momentum to the upside. It was slowing down as it was approaching. Today it just exploded to the upside, which is fine. It's part of the trades. Some of the setups will work out, some of them will not. Part of the game. Let's see on the 5-minute chart. It's pushing strong, huh? It's not even slowing down. So the tail on the hourly was this movement, and then just 5 minutes, it just invalidated it to the upside. Okay, guys, any other pairs? Anything you think is worth having a look at? Yeah. Yanis, you're right. This is a great selling opportunity. The only thing is messing with me right now is the fact that I entered a lower position, so that's what I have the larger drawdown. But if I was, and I started with this, if I was just opening the charts, I would be all over the selling this area. This is a very strong supply area. We're approaching that for the first time. I expect to see a reaction of that. Price action is a bit strong, but that's why I keep this setup on. Okay, there's still place for this to hold there and probably reverse. Denislav, I call BS on this move. I think they might be setting up for a big drop after Wednesday. I hope that I'll make money. For me, the trend is about to be sold out. US 30 gonna break. Please take a look. I'm also for sale. I got charged. Swap free with a whole. Let's bring the US 30. You're saying 32,400. Hassan, are you long and you're expecting a breakout of these levels? I'm not sure your position. And we might see a break of that level, but I also see that there's a very strong push to the downside. So right now we're, reacting to this, maybe this demand. But if I'm trying to read price, so there's very strong supply, very strong supply. And it's not coming from a very strong demand. Let me see. Okay, so this isn't a very strong demand, so we might see a reaction, an attempt to go higher, but we have very strong supply, if any. We do have demand, however, all the way down here. So right now we're just talking that consolidation. If we break to the upside, very quickly we mid supply very quickly. So those may be like false breakouts, and if we break to the downside, that opens up the door to go all the way down to those levels. But again, things will happen during the week. Are you guys looking at adding other commodities to the trading list? Oil, nat gas, precious metals? Yeah, then Slav, we're considering oil right now, so we're talking to the LPs just to get the feed in place and the margin requirements. There's not a lot of demand for that, so we don't have a lot of people requesting that, but that's something we're setting up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good luck on that, Hassan. If you're setting up a breakout from those levels, set up your take profits, accordingly to the price action. Look, the fact that we haven't broke to the downside, there might be, some people interested in keeping that, there and probably trying to push it to the upside. If you do see the breakout to the upside, just good areas to take profit. Those before sellers get active again. Okay. And you made $600. Yeah, congrats on that. Very well done. else do we have? See anything lining up at the moment? Hassan, slow, but yeah, that's a good approach, Hassan. You know, slow and steady. And Timothy, are the 5ers considering using TradingView as a trading platform? We are getting very close to platform that it looks pretty much the same as TradingView. Unfortunately, TradingView is it's only, you know, we contact them and we wanted to connect to them, but they are only broker oriented. So as we don't work with any retail broker, it's been very challenging for us to connect with them. But we got another solution, which is, you know, same charts, same experience, and we will start implementing that. Dennis Lab, I don't think there will be much momentum in any US markets before the Fed meeting, unless we get some unexpected news. I agree. Range trades for the next 2 days with slight bias towards weaker dollar in my outlook. So I hope you're right, Denislav, because then my trade will hold. But it looks like it's picking momentum, so hopefully it stays there. And that guy at C-Trader, yeah, C-Trader is not something we're considering right now. It's there's not a lot of traders that use it. We ran some, you know, some numbers, and we went through brokers. You know, we contact brokers to see the amount of traders that use C-Trader. It's around 3% of them, and it's a super expensive platform, and it's all closed code, so we couldn't add our you know, the things we need to add there, our features, and it's like a different language, so it was a bit challenging. So to be fair, I don't think we're going to add C-Trader soon. Hassan, no. So new rules of the instant apply only to new instant. If you had an old instant, you don't have those rules. Denislav, you think they will take my stops and then go down, huh? Yeah, I'm also. Yeah, I'm seeing that. They will take my stops and then reverse on me. It's fine. We'll manage that one. Okay, guys, I think we're good. We're going to wrap up a very busy week, as we said. Nothing really lining up, but the trades I already have on. Let's see how that's set up. I'm not very confident about that. I might take the loss on that. And yeah, we saw the gold very clear. That was probably the clearest one. And all the rest just waiting for something to unfold there around the news we have during the week. So I think we'll wrap it here. I can't find any, you know, setup just to scalp or day trade or something. So I think, yeah, that's a good solution, James. So guys, thanks for coming and thanks for staying. And tomorrow Ruben will be here. Yeah, see you next week. Have a nice one. Bye, guys.